From a letter to my religious cousin. Hi. As requested, please find some of the things that have led me to my thoughts today. As you are aware, it was not a simple process that just happened overnight, and has involved a lot of considered thought, and is now probably more of a result of an evolutionary process to where I am today. I have tried to be concise, but this might not be as short as you might have hoped. I don't really want to be involved in a debate regarding the merits of Islam, as I personally have gone full circle and have reached a comfortable and robust conclusion with my thoughts. However, given its contentious nature, should you wish to reply, I promise to read it. All I ask of you is to read it without any precursory religious prejudice. As you know, I was in my teens, I had a lot of questions, and there were things in the religion that sat uncomfortably with me. I remember having yet another discussion with you, and you told me that to be a Muslim you have to accept that everything in the Quran is right. It is just our understanding that is it. Otherwise, I had to admit I was not a Muslim. I thought about this for a long period, as I did not want to disappoint my parents, and more to the point, Allah, by accepting this point of view. But I also felt just because they, previous generations before them, may have felt an innate ancestral obligation to follow the religion, it did not necessarily have to be that way with me. After all, they were brought up in a different time and place, and had we been idol worshippers, as most of India still is, then I am sure they all would have been following that today. But hopefully I would still be in the position as I am now. I was happy to be convinced by Islam on its own virtues, and not for any other reason. I will not spend much time discussing the commonly cited arguments, as you will have heard them before, such as our son's right to twice a daughter's inheritance, its acceptance of men having 4 wives but not vice versa, yet the Prophet having special dispensation from Allah to have 7. Divorce being easier for a man to do than a woman. A female witness's testimony being worth half that of a man. Its attitude towards gay people. The hijab, the covering of a woman's face, although clearly the issue lies with man. The Prophet marrying a 6-year-old and being intimate with her at 9. As I believe it will all be too easy to come and find some argument that would justify all of these points, such as the Quran was misquoted. It's out of context, it was only meant to apply to that day and age. You have misunderstood it. Read more and you will find an explanation. I don't know, God works in mysterious ways. You should not question God. He created you, and your standing is nothing compared to his. However, you could reply to each point in turn. To the question of the Quran being misquoted, God would not have allowed his book to be misquoted, otherwise innocent people would unwittingly do the wrong thing. Why didn't he just correct the errors when they were made? Why didn't he just produce the book? To the question of being out of context, cultural relativity, and it was only meant to apply to that day and age. Islam and the Prophet set a code of life to apply to all ages, not just one generation. Given that it was put to us by a superior being, then it would have had the foresight to be able to apply to all generations, unless of course it was written by man, as a way to control us in a day when legal and policing structures were not prevalent, or some wanting power. To the third point, perhaps I've misunderstood it, and if I'd read more I would find an explanation. But many Muslim scholars have read more, much more than I could ever hope to, and have since denounced the religion. It does not necessarily follow that the more you read about Islam, then the more you will be convinced by its virtues. To the fourth point of God working in mysterious ways and should not question God, he created us, and our understanding is nothing compared to his. If we allowed this to occur, we would still all be worshipping clay idols and still be none the wiser. Nevertheless, these were the type of questions I had not, and now realize will never find an acceptable answer for. It sowed the seeds of doubt and forced me to take a closer look at its sense and to read the translation of the Quran without blinkered vision. But this time, without wishing, trying, or even forcing myself to believe in it. Yet the more I looked into it, the more I struggled with it.